$10,000 per XRP, $35,000 per XRP, $50,000 per XRP. Those were some of the predictions from this man right here, Jimmy Valil from Valil Capital. And right now, he posted something over on Twitter that caught everybody's eyes. 500,000 views, 500,000. And everybody in the community is talking about it. So I'd say make sure you press that like button and let's take a little bit of a look. What does the ruling in the SEC v Ripple case mean for the retail holders of XRP like you and I? There is excitement in the community after the news broke yesterday. However, there's a key element that has not been widely discussed. A thread on what the ruling means for the XRP escrow, the 50 billion XRP that Ripple now still has in the back. And to give you guys a hint as to what a lot of the XRP community members are thinking, because Ripple can now not sell institutional sales anymore, selling directly to partners, potentially from here on forward, the institutions are going to have to buy their XRP on the open market, pumping the prices like crazy. Anyway, let us take a good little look here. They first on decide to describe what the difference is between the order, right? Because the judge made a distinction between institutional and programmatic sales. So Ripple selling XRP on exchanges or via trading algorithm on exchanges and whatever, which were bind to blind bid and ask transactions, were not investment contracts because Ripple did not know who was on the other side. Ripple selling XRP directly to some hedge funds or ODL customers with a contract, that was not completely good. If Ripple paid out XRP to one of the employees or something like that, that was also completely fine, or paying it to developers, all that type of stuff, because it's just a use case for XRP. Now, as you guys all know, I am a man of efficiency, which means I will not be boring you by reading every single tweet right here, but I'm going to give you guys a good little summary. Here we go. The SEC won on a couple of different parts in the lawsuit. We all know that. And so now, in hindsight, Ripple didn't actually register their investment contracts properly, and so they're deemed bad actors because they thought they were doing the right thing, but it comes out now that they weren't. So that mostly has to do with them continuing their operations in the near future in the United States, which is a key part of this all. And so they're at the mercy of the SEC on whether or not Ripple can continue to sell these investment contracts because, again, they're not properly registered. And because of the way which all these lawsuits have been going, there's not a really big chance the SEC is going to let them slide. The order would permit Ripple to continue to conduct programmatic sales where the participants are in a blind bid and ask transaction, one not aware of the identity of the other. So Ripple could distribute in this manner. But hear the big kids screaming, what about me? Well, Ripple is also free to continue to distribute XRP outside the US in those jurisdictions where XRP is not a security. The big kids in the US, but what about me? Well, you, sir, US financial institution, hedge fund, or potentially a ODL customer must obtain your XRP directly from the market for the circulating supply. In other words, as retail. Oh, the horror. Because that's, sarcastic as it's nice for XRP holders, but not good for them. To be sure, there are many twists and turns left to this saga. However, from a net analysis of the order from the judge, it appears that the US financial institutions are the big losers, as they may no longer be able to obtain XRP directly from the owner of most of the XRP at potentially a discount or a good deal. At the time when liquidity is everything and BRICS countries are moving back towards the gold standard, it just may mean that retail and blind programmatic sales into the market by Ripple is the only way US financial institutions get access to XRP. It's an interesting theory. Now, I'd like to state that the amount of money we're talking about here is not that severe. I mean, we might still be talking about $100 million a year for US if we look at prior data. The only point is here that we might not have to compare it with previous data because right now XRP got proper clarity. And so the pool of investors that are interested in working with Ripple has gone from, let's say, a 0.1% to a 40%, like a drastic increase, almost unimaginable. Because all these major banks, they probably wouldn't have touched Ripple for the longest time, purely on the idea that they might be touching something illegal. And I mean, in hindsight now, if they had worked with Ripple on this investment contract type of basis, yeah, could have been a little bit of trouble. But right now, XRP is scotch-free, and they have all the authority to work with Ripple in almost any way they want, or with XRP for that matter, as XRP is now golden. So if you start thinking about it, whatever we saw in the past might actually be completely thrown in the shade right now and be for what is about to come, basically. And also for those people that were wondering about it, there's actually only a very tiny bit of this whole lawsuit now that's actually going to trial, by the way, which mostly has to do with just Chris Larsen and Garlinghouse's aiding and abetting. So whether or not, for the most part, they basically knew they were doing something wrong. To add to it, hopefully you guys remember this video from Yoshitaka Kitao, the CEO of SBI, who said this: if the conclusion is reached and XRP is a coin, or at least not a security, I think it will be very expensive price. Rough translation. If the conclusion of the trial is positive, there was no trial, I think the management will immediately go public. And I'd like to state, even though the price did not surge immediately, right? Immediately after all this stuff came out, the lawsuit was won and etc. I think for the most part, I've explained already why I think things didn't surge. But if you look back at some of the articles, SBI CEO foresees Ripple's XRP adoption by all Japanese banks by 2025. Speculations rise on potential price surge to $10. That also came from the SBI CEO, whom himself literally said he expected XRP to get to $10 not too long from now. And he basically backed up his claim, again, also with a favorable outcome for Ripple, which we had. And I'd say that even from that perspective, I think many of the supporters were surprised that the price didn't move that much. But again, too much manipulation. Now, I said that all that sounds realistic. What doesn't, to me at least, right, is the guys over at Valil, who for the last couple of years, even I see now, I didn't know it was that long, have been stating that $10, $35, or even $50,000 per XRP is possible. Let me elaborate a little bit upon that. For all of you that do not know, I'll share part of their valuation model. They shared a pretty huge report a little bit back. Again, I'm not their biggest fan. I don't really like many of their theories, but I'll give them their credit for, backing it up with some numbers here. This was viewed 1 million times last month, and it was, what is the fair market value of XRP? This question is more complex than it sounds and led a small group of people of nearly 2 years of research to, basically price things in. Like, how good is XRP really? How much can it change? How much has it got internally in terms of all the numbers, and where should the price be? And the forecasts are ranging pretty wide, with the lowest being about $9.81, with the highest being $513,000 per XRP, where it should be. 6 quantitative models were built using various industry-accepted approaches. Assumptions varied, but all assumed that XRP Ledger will be widely adopted layer 1 to move global value. Most significant driver of price is the ratio between utility for transactions versus the store of value. The extreme scenarios, 11 and 12, look at the cases where either only utility or only store of value are taken into consideration. Related to store of value, the amount of global value represented by XRP is a deterministic driver of price. And they also explain the virtuous cycle flywheel. As XRP adoption increases for payment and digital asset transactions, XRP price increases. The price increase drives up demand to store value, reducing the ability supply for transactions, available supply for transactions. New use, not that much, but sure, I guess. New use case, because in theory it would be locked up, because people would want to hold as they expect the price to go up more potentially. So then less money is there out there to transact. Kind of similar to where Bitcoin right now gets lower and lower of supply, even though there's still inflation, because a lot of Bitcoin gets lost. And in theory, it could be more Bitcoin that gets hoarded now forever and not let go to trade on the open markets than is mined every day. Now, number 3 is new use cases emerge, Javan's paradox driving vertical and horizontal adoption growth. And then step number 4, competing forces of increasing adoption and store of value. Demand lead to exponential price increases, which again continues on with the circle then. And then they ask the question, could 100 XRP be worth $1 million? Well, the valuation requires XRP to reach 10K, slightly below the low end of Valil Capital's model predictions. However, that would also equate to $510 trillion, which, following the article, hardly seems feasible, as the GDP of the United States is only around $23 trillion. And global GDP is about $100 trillion. They say so it's economically impossible for XRP to be worth 5 times that, which I don't agree with, because even here, this global wealth measurement, it doesn't really take into consideration the value of everything that exists. So if the store of value is supposed to be represented by this price, it could in theory be infinite. But I personally like to stick more to what the guys like the SBI CEO and people in that little field are saying, with kind of thinking around the $10 mark for being a very reasonable price where it should be at right now, where XRP, in my opinion, should be trading at right now as we speak. And for that reason, I just keep on buying, actually. People came up to me just now. No, actually, it was on Twitter, right? It didn't come up to me. It just saw it over on Twitter. Because I thought it was the comment section, but I saw it on Twitter, and I actually posted it for you guys already. There's this speculation going around that major investors are all selling their XRP or dabbling out of XRP. Well, I've been speaking to a lot of people that hold a good chunk of XRP, and nobody that I know is selling it now because everybody knows it's too undervalued. Like, the price now for the position that XRP is in as the only properly regulated crypto is too low. So why would you sell? Nobody does that. It's only fear, and it's a massive fear campaign, I believe. So then if we start to think about what the true value should be, I'll talk about that later in another video where we dive deeper into exactly my price predictions. But before we do that, guys, make sure you press that like button right now. But yeah, I think $10, something like that, 3 times the all-time high. It's pretty fair. I mean, Bitcoin went from $19,000 to $70,000, which is about 3.5 times its all-time high, and it didn't even get the proper clarity. Ethereum went from, let's call it about $1,300 all the way towards roughly $5,000. Let's just call it $4,500. We can call it a 3 to 4x or so that it did. Oh, sorry, a 4. Yeah, let's call it a 4x, you know? $1,300 to about $5,000 or 4x. And XRP, what did XRP do? Well, it went from about $3 something to, you know, like how much? $1.50 or something. So reasonably right now, you can see the uptrend is like slowly but surely starting. I still think that right now, this bull run, XRP is potentially become number 2, potentially even number 1 because of the status that it has, but it's going to be overtaking a lot of the money that was lost throughout this part. And again, for me, it's hard to say that I fully agree with, I zoomed in by accident. These guys' model and the way they wrote things, that's a hard-ass freaking sound to flip your pages. Holy damn. Why is that so loud? But it is something worth looking into because a lot of people put some effort into it. And there are some nice parts about it because it kind of like broadens your mind here, these theories. However, I like to be a little bit more realistic, as every single day that I make videos on this channel, I'm hoping to be able to change somebody's life, you know, and hopefully, even though I never try to give financial advice, I always just try to tell you guys my story and what I think. I think almost anything we talk about is within reach, because a $10 XRP could happen in a snap. A $10,000 XRP is so far away. Let it just slide. I like to be with things that are within grasp. And so even if we're talking about becoming a millionaire and things like that, I'm not going to base these things upon, okay, what if XRP were to go to $100,000 per coin? Because it's just not as feasible for the short term. If we're talking about things that are feasible on the short term, well, here's my $500 XRP giveaway. I told you guys I'm giving away $10 to the first 50 people that sign up, but I'm actually going to expand upon this giveaway by a lot. There's a link down below to BitGet. It's the exchange that I use for a lot of my trading, which is also where you can leverage trade, so you can make, you know, use of $1,000, for example, but then use it as $10,000 or $50,000, which is how becoming a millionaire becomes a lot easier with the power of trading, especially if you do it as I described before. But right now, a lot of my traders I'll be rewarding heavily. I might start a new competition where the people that trade the most get a lot of money as well. This doesn't mean you need a lot of money. It just means you're active, or if you're just a proper trader of sorts. Because you also got to reward the people that put the effort in, right? Or I might just give away more and more money to more people as I see demand increase, specifically for the traders, right? For all my traders, I got to help you guys out a little bit better. But yeah, that's with the link down below. Just check it out for yourselves. Might start a new competition soon only for those people. Might do a little giveaway among the new people that join. Might do something else, but just check the link down below because there's some free money up for grabs. Maybe you're too late though, because if you take some more time, the money will be gone. But as I said, we might just start something new again for some people. So it's going to be cool. Anyway, guys, those were my thoughts. $10 per XRP is very, very reasonable in my opinion. It's a low estimate. People keep saying to me, no, it's high. It's high. No, it's not. Because that's, again, my target for previous bull market, basically. This bull run, XRP should blast all those $10 marks and everything like that over the course of the bull run, which is why I'm still holding on, which is why I'm buying more. I don't care what people tell me. Stay strong, soldiers. See you guys later in another one. Make sure you've got the notification bell on, as I always say, because what if something crazy happens, you want to be notified, and that's about it.